Greetings, Earthlings. Today we're going to talk about endurance sports, such as endurance running or endurance activities in general, but specifically, is running 5Ks and marathons actually healthy? This video is addressed primarily to people that are currently engaged in such activities, or let's say some of you folks that might be considering doing these activities. So those are sort of the two groups. The goal of this video is not to make fun of anybody, and I'm only gonna, present things or maybe exaggerate things in order to demonstrate a point. So this is, trying to help people. Also, quick disclaimer: I'm not a medical doctor or health professional, so I'm sharing my experiences. Please consult a doctor. Do anything I suggest or don't suggest at your own risk. All right. So in short, let me answer the question. I think you guys have the answer already on the board. The answer is no. Now, before I give you my 2 cents, if you're wondering, is this just Ilya's opinion? Well, there is a study supporting this. So runners that run, they studied runners that run longer, like more than I think 20 miles a week. The bottom line is folks that run more live less. So there's data for that. Maybe it's not definitive, maybe they'll find their flaws, but there is evidence, there's a lot of evidence suggesting that running excessively, such as training for a marathon, that would certainly qualify. The 5K is not that much, so maybe that wouldn't. However, if you're trying to set a record and you're really pushing yourself and getting a lot of mileage over the week, maybe that will qualify. So the 5K can sort of slip in there. I don't want to say no to the 5K, but I'm talking about more like half marathons, ultra marathons. It need not even be running. But so let me tell you sort of what I see that kind of sparked this, and we'll go from there. In New York, in Central Park, this is not limited to Central Park, but I will see a lot of folks, and it's usually very like skinny, frail, lanky people. First of all, they already have bad posture, so the posture is kind of hunched, and it could be middle-aged, young, 50 years old, any age, 60 years old, and they're kind of just like jogging like this. And I really think that they think they're doing a good thing. So the truth is they're partially doing a good thing and a bad thing. So you have two factors there. Now, before I kind of trash, long distance running, I want to say that if you're not active at all and you start running, that's a fantastic thing. So running is not a bad thing at all, and I'm going to talk about some of the benefits later on. I just want to kind of warn you guys that a lot of things done in excess, that's not in moderation, they can have consequences. So what are some like main issues? Well, like very serious issues, there occasionally, this hasn't been known to happen, people have cardiac issues. So heart issues, I personally advise, like if I have a family member that has AFib, atrial fibrillation, where they have an uneven heartbeat, I would advise them not to do long bouts of cardio. So when I say long, just so we're clear, for me, like a 10 to 15 minute run is fine. But if you're running for like an hour every day or 2 hours or some crazy amount, if you're running miles and miles, the number's kind of arbitrary, but if you're a serious runner, 2 miles, 3 miles is not a serious run. That's a nice working run, but I'm talking about excessive amounts. So basically, these are serious injuries. Now, injuries and pain. I have friends, and they'll always be talking about their training for like a 5K or a half marathon. And you know what? If they feel great and this adds value to their life, then that's a great thing. The problem is I see a lot of them talking about the downside, which is like, oh, I have a shin splint, or I have an ankle issue, or I have knee pain, I have lower back pain. All of these pains, part of those, of course, are due to poor technique. But the other aspect is just, if you're going to run for such long distances, even with perfect technique, it's not necessarily very healthy for your heart and for your body. So I'll post links in the description, but I just really, you don't have to take my word for it. Just here's what I advise. So if you're wondering also like, well, what do I do instead of running? First of all, there are other endurance activities that are less impact on your joints, such as swimming. But I'm more of like in the strength training camp. So, and there's studies that show the benefits of strength training, like to prevent osteoporosis and stuff like that. So it doesn't have to be necessarily lifting weights. It could be calisthenics, gymnastics, just plain old push-ups, pull-ups, the basics. You could do some swimming, running thrown in. So I'm all for doing things in moderation, and I view running as an awesome supplement, but I don't view it as like 80% of your workout. So here's the issue. A lot of these folks that I see like in Central Park, oftentimes, you know, they're like a very busy lawyer, or they have like a really, you know, a really busy career going, and so they don't have much time to get out. And now, like, you know, they're 20 minutes or whatever, they're trying really hard. So I'm not trying to make fun of these people, but A, they already have bad posture. So we talked in the previous posture videos. But the thing is, when you're running and have bad posture, as I mentioned in another video, let's say my head is slouched. If I'm walking, that's already bad. But if I'm running, that becomes ballistic, and it becomes that much worse because of now you have a weight that's moving. So all the postural issues will be magnified. So if they're running with poor posture, they may have neck pain, shoulder pain, also lower back pain, all sorts of pain. Not to mention muscular imbalances, because a lot of folks, you know, all they're doing. So my point is, if all you do is run, I would encourage you guys to round out your workouts and really put in, you know, maybe make running 20% of your workout or 30%, but not that much. And try strength training, complement your workout. Look into other forms of exercise. The more well-rounded you are, the more of a generalist you are, the less you're going to get injured. So it's just, you know, it hurts me to see people hurting themselves. So that's what I want to say about that. Now, I mean, like there are like more minor issues, but I mean, they're not that minor, but a lot of times people will be running in, like, you know, the streets of New York, and there's a ton of pollution. So if you're walking, that's one thing, but now if you're breathing, and now if you're running, now you're huffing and puffing really heavily, and you're breathing in all that smog. So while you may be getting some cardio out of it, you know, it can't be good for your overall health to be breathing pollution in a very like very excessive way like that. So also time. You know, if you really want to get a good workout just from running, you might need at least, let's say, 20-30 minutes of a run. I mean, now we're talking about slow, steady state. I'm not talking about sprinting, which I'll mention there. So it takes a lot of time. Now, in terms of results, this might be one of the notions that people have that I really want to address. It's not going to add for strength. It's not going to really make you stronger, right? It's like physique-wise, it's not going to be great. But weight loss, many people think, oh, well, cardio is the thing you do for weight loss. Actually, if you look at bodybuilders, you know, while they may do some cardio, the crux of their program is strength training and of course nutrition and diet. So the thing with running is, if you're doing it for weight loss and you just went on like to lose 1 pound, that's 3,500 calories. And if you run for an hour, you might burn 600 calories. So you'd have to run basically a marathon. You'd have to run like 5 or 6 hours to burn off 1 pound. Now, I know I can't run for 6 hours in a row, but the point is, you're not going to lose much weight running. Now, if you add in a little bit of running in addition to nutrition and strength training, yeah, it can help. But like I said, if that's your main weight loss tool, you're going to be severely disappointed. You may at first start to lose some weight, and then you're going to plateau. Because, you know, also when you run, you're going to get really hungry. And when you eat, like, oh, I ran so I can have a cupcake. So when you have that cupcake, that's 200 calories right there, or 100, 150, whatever. So, or you have a bigger meal, and you just basically made up all the calories you lost running, if not even more. So the point is, you're not going to get much out of it other than we will get some cardio benefits. You'll have great endurance, and you might have a badge of courage, like, oh, I can run this distance in this amount of time. It sounds impressive. So I kind of want to address a few of the reasons, like a few of the bad reasons people might have. One of them is the common wisdom, like I said, that a lot of people think that, running is healthy. So more running must be healthier. Like I said, if you're not active, some running is a great thing. But just like with everything, there's a dose. So if you drink enough water, if you drink too much water, it becomes harmful. If you eat too much broccoli, like if I eat like 50 whatever I could actually physically eat, there is an optimal dose for everything. So I'm not saying eliminate running, but if you're like all the way here considering going really extreme with it, understand that you might start to experience some downsides, and there might be a sweet spot, maybe 5 minutes of running, 10 minutes, whatever. Number 2, there's a competitive aspect where like, oh, my 5K time is better. I believe that exercising should be about health. You should feel good after your workout. You should look forward to it. For a lot of folks, there's been kind of like a switch in their incentives where it's like you run because you enjoy getting a lower time. And there's a disconnect between how you feel. Like you feel terrible, but you're happy you get a lower time. And so for some period of time that can be great, but over time as the pain and the injuries stack up, you'll say like, wait, why did I ever even care about my time that much? And you'll see this a lot of times, like retired bodybuilders, for example, where they got really obsessive with having a great physique, and then they realize after they retired, like, I'm not healthy, this is not maintainable, why do I want to do this? I recently heard an interview with Dorian Yates, a famous bodybuilder, so he's doing what works for him now in retirement. 3, an addictive personality. A lot of folks, especially like type A successful career people, as I say successful in quotes because to me success means all around success, but that's another story. A lot of folks have addictive personalities, which means like, they're like, well, at least running is a healthy addiction. I don't want to be addicted to like drugs or cigarettes or something bad. But let me offer this. If that's fine if you have an addictive personality. I actually have an addictive personality. I'm not saying eliminate running and do nothing. I'm suggesting, why don't you look into even better activities? If you want to be healthy, if you think this is like adding to your life and you don't want to get rid of it, I'm not saying just cut it out completely. I'm saying swap it. So maybe decrease it and add in some strength training. Try swimming. Try a mix of strength training and swimming. Try some running, swimming, strength. Try, yoga, try rock climbing, try soccer, whatever. The point is, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're running, there might be exceptions. There are folks that are like, look, I have no pain, I run long distances and I feel great. This is an addition to my life. If that's the case, then, then do your thing. Now, but if you're doing it because, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. That's all I really want to get across. Don't do it to please somebody else or to impress somebody or to, have a badge of honor that like, oh, I got a better time. I won a half marathon or I got 3rd place or whatever. Why? Because that stuff doesn't last. You'll find in many years you'll regret it. All right. Good reasons to run and how to do it right. Like I said, moderation. I mean, for me personally, I'll love a 10, 15-minute run now and then. I view it as a supplement. That's like, to me, running it's a nice addition. I realize the benefits. I know that I get better cardio endurance. But I like the way I feel when I do strength training, calisthenics, gymnastics. It could be Tai Chi, yoga, but with some cardio thrown in. So the idea is it's a supplement. To me, running is a great supplement, but it shouldn't be the core. I mean, I don't recommend that it's the core of your workout. All right. Next, there are undeniable cardio benefits and lymph benefits. Whenever your body is moving, you're going to drain your body of waste, you're going to circulate your body. So from that perspective, you're going to have endorphins. And if you do go on a longer run, at least 10, 15 minutes or longer, and that's why a lot of folks get addicted to it, because you experience a lot of endorphins. So your focus, your mood, you're going to feel great. The problem is, your body might slowly start to fall apart, but like immediately after your run, you're gonna have a great day. Now here's the thing, you can get a lot of the same stuff from strength training and other, what I consider healthier activities. So if this is why you love running, because of that endorphin rush, like the way it makes you feel, you never know until you try. So try another activity, and I think you might find, once you give it a chance, that you have everything you've had with running, but just better. All right. Also, you could do sprints or high intensity interval training. The thing is, if you want to do a 30-minute run, there are ways to get a 5 or 10-minute intense strength training workout or like a 5-minute sprint workout that will leave you feeling like you got a better workout than a 30-minute run or an hour run. I'm not talking about the burning of calories. I'm just talking about how much you're working your muscles and just the feeling after it. So really check out sprints and high intensity interval training. And that's, like I said, that could be a nice segue if you're really into running. This is running, you're just running for short durations, really fast with short rest periods. Now also, I love incorporating some running and jogging into my warm-ups, my cool downs, in between sets, and as active recovery. So let's say I had a workout, next day I'm pretty sore. A 5 or 10-minute jog can be a great thing to help speed things up so I'm recovered for my next workout. Also, if I'm doing, let's say, a set of push-ups, maybe I'll do a light jog to the pull-up bar. I don't have to walk. So to me, running is a tool. Think of it like a color palette. If all you do is running, and we're not even talking about bad posture, and that's an even worse thing, but let's say you have perfect posture, you're like a pro runner, you were on the high school track and field team, whatever. Running is a tool. So if you're a painter or a chef, if you're a painter, you don't want to just paint everything in orange unless that's your thing. Or if you're a chef, you don't want to add salt to every dish. Like you don't want to add black pepper to the cheesecake. So same thing with running. I think if used sparingly and appropriately, running can be a great addition. But if this is your whole life, like the thing is, a lot of these folks training for 5Ks and marathons, here's my question, my test for them. If you can do, for the ladies it might be different numbers. So it might be like 1 pull-up. For the gentlemen it might be more. But if you can't do 1 pull-up, but yet you're running a lot, you have to ask yourself, do you have a balance going on? Or let's say you can't do 10 push-ups. You can't do 5 or 10 push-ups, yet you're running for 30 minutes or an hour. So you have to ask yourself, my life be better enhanced by having a more well-roundedness. Maybe I should do a little more strength training. So hopefully that gets you guys to at least think about it. From a health perspective, in my mind, there's no contest that long distance running of any kind, it's not a great thing. It's not to say that you can't occasionally do it. You're not gonna, if you're a healthy individual and you're training properly, you can participate in a 5K, but if that's all you do nothing else, you can't even do a push-up, you can't do a pull-up. Explore, open your boundaries, try other activities. So I'll kind of leave it there. My main concern here is not to, have an agenda. We'll say strength training is better, running sucks, although I kind of believe that. It's just to help, folks from getting injured, because a lot of times if you've been running for years and years and years, you've created really challenging problems for yourself. So if you explore some of these ideas earlier on in your career, you might save yourself a lot of headache. So hopefully that helped. I'll see you guys in the next video.